Hey everyone, noah.tempestarii here, and in this video I wanted to do a tutorial on the world's easiest potion recipe. And this is a craft that I shared in my Instagram widget community tag that was originally an experiment. My cousin read this book, and he's getting into spirituality. He read this book on an experiment that was done that found intention in water. And this is a Cliff Note version of that experiment. So people took holy water under a microscope and compared it to just regular water, and the patterns that were in each of the slides was completely different, and the holy water was, the pattern was so beautiful. So what they did was take it a step further, and they took 2 bottles of water with different brands, and they put them on slide. They put a couple drops of each one on slides, and then they compared those two, and they seen that the patterns were again different, and they didn't understand why. They're both filtered water. They just were made by different brands, and so their hypothesis was maybe it's filtered differently, and they couldn't quite figure it out. So then they did an experiment of their own. They took 2 bottles from the same brand, and they put them under a microscope. Excuse me, I'm gonna sneeze. False alarm. So they took those 2 bottles of water, and they put them under a microscope, and they seen that the patterns were the same. And then they wanted to try one last experiment. They labeled those same 2 bottles of water with that were opened already, that they just used, and they looked in those slides. They labeled them. One was labeled, I don't remember the exact intention they used, but for an example, we'll just say the first one they use is positivity, and then the other one they use is luck. So they just wrote them down, and they taped them to the bottle, and then they let it sit for I think they said they let it sit overnight, and then the next day they opened up the bottles, and they took a few drops of each one, put them on slides, looked at them under the telescope, the microscope, and they seen that the patterns were different, and they couldn't understand why. So then they started thinking, well, maybe because we let it sit, maybe because they were opened and different temperatures, whatever. So they tried it one last time with 2 sealed bottles. They labeled them with the exact same intentions that they used before. And when they put them under a microscope, they not only compared them to each other, but they compared them to the same slides that they used of the same intention, and they were both the same. So the positivity matched, and the luck matched. And so they were just completely, astounded. And so they believed, and their result of their experiment was that they put intention into the water. So when I learned that story, I took it with me into my knowing, because science found a place in magic, and magic found a place in science, and I've always believed that to be true. And that experiment, just pretty much pretty much made it known. It reassured me and things like that. So I'm gonna show you what they did exactly. So what you're gonna need for this craft is a bottle of water, a bottle of juice, just any bottle drink that you're going to take with you on the daily. You're going to need some tape. You can use transparent tape. I like to use the colored tape. And you're going to need a marker, permanent marker. I have a Sharpie here. You're going to need some scissors. If you don't have the little holder that has the little teeth to cut off the tape, you're going to need some scissors. And then what I like to do is pretty much write down different intentions, and then on different pieces of tape like I did here, and put them on a Ziploc baggie, because it's easier to tear off. I don't use paper, because once the tape is adhered to the paper, it's going to tear off the paper, and it's not going to be as sticky. So I like to use a Ziploc bag. So I actually do a lot more labels than this on a Ziploc bag. And then I pretty much make this a daily thing. I'll look at this in the morning before I'm on my way to work, and I will grab whatever label I'm drawn to, whatever I need for the day. So whatever I'm inclined to take, I'll take. So let's just say I need some luck in my day, so I'm gonna go ahead and take off the luck label, and then I'm just gonna stick it on the bottle of water. It's that simple. You just want to stick it on there, and as you're doing this, you want to visualize, your intention going into the water. This is kind of the same way you would make a crystal elixir. The energies and the properties of the crystal go into the water, making the crystal elixir. It's the same concept as this. You're putting the luck into the water. You're making liquid luck, And you're not done at this point. This isn't the end of the craft. You still have to put your energy and intention. I'm sorry, I moved the tripod. You have to put your energy and intention into this as well, So here are a few different things that you can do in order to do that, and it's not limited to these methods either. So you can hold it in your hands, and you can just, enchant and put your intention into this water. That's one way to do it. Another thing that I like to do is, remember I told you I like to use music in my crafts, and music is rhythm, and rhythm like your heartbeat. So I'll find my heartbeat, my pulse in my neck or my wrist, and I'll find it, I'll memorize the rhythm, and then I'll shake the bottle according to that rhythm. And so you're shaking it for so many heartbeats. You can shake it for 7 heartbeats, 13 heartbeats, 21 heartbeats. Sometimes I'll do it for 21, most of the time actually, but it's all up to you. That's another thing you can do, is shake it according to your heartbeat. And you can shake it softly, you can shake it fast, slow, you can shake it rapidly. And when you're shaking it, you're actually raising energies, and those energies are going into this bottle, and it's just going to be that much more powerful for you. And I'm not saying that it's a guarantee you're going to, like this, you're going to have luck after drinking this bottle of water, It's not an instant thing. It could be an instant thing. It's different for everybody, and luck doesn't come in, a specific way, like, you drink this and you're going to go gamble and you're going to win $1 million. That's not how it works. You're just going to have a much better day. There's going to be certain things that go your way, like finding that front row parking without even trying, and, getting picked first and, for something, just different things like that. So that's what I mean by, making this potion. Another thing I like to do is include an incantation that I translated from English into Latin, and I do incorporate Latin in my spell work. I know it's kind of, people will think it's cliche or whatever, but I see a lot of respect in using that language, and it really has worked for me. So of course I'm going to use something that works for me. So I'm going to share the incantation with you, and it's as follows. Benedíco, hanc aquam cum animo. Benedíco, hanc aquam cum animo. And I'll put the incantation in the description box below in case you don't understand how I'm saying it. And I'll say it one more time. Benedíco, hanc aquam cum animo. And I'll usually say that while I'm shaking it, and or holding it or whatever, and I'm just envisioning it, in my head, what I want, in this bottle. You can blow on it as well. When you say the incantation, you can blow. And I like to blow, as a blessing to a lot of my crafts, because you're blowing life into it, from your own energy. You're blowing life into it, and you're giving it the life, and you're making it do what you want it to do. It's your working, and it's going to work for you. So that's another thing I like to do. You don't have to stop here. You can indirectly make this into a crystal elixir, using the indirect method, putting crystals of, like, if you're using it for luck, for an example, you can put crystals of prosperity like green aventurine or tiger's eye or pyrite, around it overnight, and then take it with you in the morning, things like that. So I mean, the possibilities are endless. The possibilities of making this, and the possibilities of the product, the result, are endless. So I hope I inspired you to give this a shot. Let me know how you like it. Let me know if you have anything to add. I welcome any VRs for this video as well. Thank you all for tuning in. Much love and many blessings.